Hi all, Bones here from BSA Bantams. And in this video we're going to be going through one of the race engines that I'm going to be building. So pardon me, but I'm going to be carrying the camera around the workshop so you can just get an idea of what's going on. Currently we've got the engine apart and we're just going through the clean process and repairs and fixing some other stuff. So let's go for a walk. Alright, VM24 carby that's going to be going on this engine and the pod filter. In there I think we've got a mounting plate or in here, all the new bits and bobs that we're going to be fitting up to this engine. So we've already gone through and identified what we need. So we'll go around the other side and have a look where we're up to. Okay, cases apart, barrel there, more bits and bobs, we're just wire buffing off rust and the like. Piston, I've got new rings fitted up for that, but I'm putting the old piston in, so pardon me for just hanging on to the camera. But if you didn't, from the last video, you can see how they've cut the back of the skirt off on the piston. So that's this side, the shorter side is the inlet side of the piston, and they've got pretty substantial anti-rotation pegs in it, and so I've had to modify some rings to suit that, and I've actually filed those down a little bit because they were flush with the edge of the piston, so we've taken that off. Head, I have machined a tiny little bit out of that just to reduce the compression ratio a bit. It's still running pretty high compression ratio. So what I will do is I'll actually lap that surface once we get it all clean. And as I said in previous videos, I don't run head gaskets in Bantams. I just lap both the barrel and the head mating surface. So we've got that done. On the barrel, that barrel flange there, I've got to take that off, and I'm about to make another one and bronze it on, and it'll accept the rubber boot for the Mikuni carby. We've given this bore a hone, had a tiny little bit of a lip, but it's come out, so that's pretty good, and it looks reasonably serviceable. I don't want to go modifying this engine too much because it was a race engine from back in the day, so it's more to put this engine together and just see how it goes. Cases over here are in really good condition, so we've knocked the bearings out and we'll get ready to start cleaning all those up. So what's happening now, Justin's just boring out the centre of the flange that we're making to accept the Mikuni carby mount and be able to fit up this Mikuni VM24 carby to it. We'll just break it through there. Okay, so what I'm up to now is, as you can probably see on here, it's all these machine marks and this little impression here for whatever reason it is. So I'm just sheet of glass, 1200 wet and dry, and we'll just lap this down until we get a perfect surface. So I've just made up the flange to accept the Mikuni carb, just bronze that on, so this barrel will get a bit of a bead blast and clean up, and we'll clean up that face where the boot goes, the mounting boot. Okay, so what we're looking at there is a clutch basket and all the burrs on the basket itself. So I've got a single cut file, I'll dress those out, and I'll also dress out, if I can get my finger around there, these little grooves in here. It's not much to get this out, but you can see that burr over there, it's pretty bad. Alright, so I've dressed off the burrs on this clutch basket. So other than wire buffing there, clean off a bit of the corrosion and give that a polish, clutch basket's done. Now with the main shaft, this was the bush that was in it, but there's a fair bit of slop in that, and I don't have any new ones in stock. So what I'm going to actually do is machine a new one up, and then I'll ream the inside diameter out to suit this shaft. I'll put the micrometer across this shaft, and it is absolutely parallel. And also, this is the end where your main shaft gear goes on, and this is probably the best main shaft I've ever seen. It's got well, less than 0.01 of a millimetre difference in diameter, so I'll give that the lightest of polishes, and then that way when I put the new bushes in for the main shaft gear and ream that out, that'll be spot on. So we'll get a lump of bronze, jump on the lathe, and we'll get one of these spun up. So outside diameter has been machined up. And that's got nothing in it. That's great. So now we'll get the inside done. We've just started reaming. So we've got a little way to go. I've left a bit of meat on, so I can just keep creeping up to the size I want with the reamer. Okay, our bush is now machined up. Spins on there nicely. Main shaft in. And no rock, which is exactly what I wanted, so I'm very happy with that. Good job. So I'm just prepping out the crank now, and what I've done is clean up the seal surface on this side, given it a clean, new little end bush, that's been reamed out, lubrication holes obviously drilled in it before I reamed it out, and we're just about to fit up the stuffer plates to this engine. I'll actually run a little bit of sealant around here to make these gas tight, so we'll get that done. Okay, so we've got our engine assembled thus far. So into putting all the primary drive in, clutch and primary drive chain and sprocket. So all our clutch and primary drives in, and as you can see, that's an 8-spring clutch pack. So now it's time to get the primary drive cover on. Alright, we've got our engine back together now. Makuni carb setup all fitted, and if you're wondering why the surface finish on the engine's just, well, not scrubby, but I haven't bothered about vapor blasting or anything like that, because this is going in an original race bike. So now what we're going to do now is actually transplant this engine into the race bike. So I'll go in the corner and we'll get the bike up on the stand. I haven't fit the rotor up because I'm actually using the CDI and rotor off the bike, the actual race bike. So I'll take them off once I get the bike around here. So my apologies for this probably being out of focus. It's a little bit hard to tell. But if you can see that little flat spot on this bit of solder, I put a piece of solder in through the spark plug hole and just roll the piston up over the top dead centre. So this diameter of this solder is about what squish I want between my piston and my head. And what's happened is I've got a tight spot just there. You can see it just flattened out a bit. So what I've got to do now is actually take the head off and reprofile it, because this is tight here and you've got a pocket there all the way around the periphery of your piston. That's trapped pressure in there and that causes detonation. So because this is a pretty high compression piston, or engine I should say, I'm going to have to profile it just to give me some clearance between the piston and the head. So head off, over into the lathe and do a bit of machining. So I've got the head off and you can just see just there where the pistons actually top it, hitting the head. It's something I should have actually measured when it was on the bench, but I forgot to do it and then I remembered later, which is good. So we'll just take a skim off here, reprofile this surface from the edge here just out to there. So I've already machined a little bit off, reprofiled that head, and we'll bolt it back up to the engine now and I'll get some solder in and check my squish again. So I've got the squish band issues sorted, machined a bit more, modified the profile on the head a bit, and we're all good. All back together. All we're going to do now is start it up. So we've got the engine in. All we've got to do now, so I've got the squish band issues sorted, machined a bit more, modified the profile on the head a bit, and we're all good. All back together. All we're going to do now is start it up.